In the morning starts now.
Look at Seymour, Indiana, covered with snow this morning. Jeremy Capel is up there keeping an eye on the conditions, talking to us about how things have changed there this morning pretty dramatically. Here in downtown Louisville, we started with rain. We moved over to snow. We're getting a little bit of a break right now. Jude Redfield's the man of the hour. We want to know what this holds as we head through the day. When does this whole thing wrap up?
Later on tonight, and it's still going to be icy because the roads that aren't treated, Candace, temperatures below freezing. We've got some problems later on tonight, even though we'll get rid of all the heavy snow. The thunderstorms, the thunder sleet, heavy rain, it's all moving to the east northeast pretty quickly, around 30 to 40 miles per hour. Look at the temperatures, pick your spot. Campbellsville 40. You don't have any problems in terms of anything freezing. Now you get closer to Louisville Metro, that's where we keep going back and forth. Rain, snow. Rain, snow. It's like, come on, make up your mind. The later we go into the morning hours, the better chance we have to transitioning to all snow. Southern Indiana, just about everyone seeing snow. One exception east of 65, as that warmer surge has brought some areas of sleet and snow combinations to portions of southern Indiana. Now, we're going to watch what's coming out of Bullitt County because there's really heavy precipitation in between Mount Washington and Brooks, Shepherdsville. That is moving off to the north around 30 to 40 miles per hour. And if this starts to go back to snow, which is currently falling as some light rain here in downtown, then we're going to have a real fast accumulation on just about all of the roadways. So we need to watch this one very carefully. There's some heavy moisture moving in across southern and central sections of Kentucky, and that will surge right back up to the Ohio River. Charlestown, you have some snow. Things are covered there. It's slick in New Washington. Another burst of snow in the next 20 to 30 minutes. You can see all blue as we look at Du Bois County, Orange, Washington, Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings. We still have a lot of snow up around Seymour right now. We have the snow. Everything's covered. The interstates are a mess. They keep plowing. Evansville, Indiana picked up 3 inches of snow, not for the whole storm, but in 1 hour with whiteout conditions. So those kind of snow rates have been seen at times, and you can see the lightning strikes pop up on your TV screen. We still have that wraparound moisture. All of this snow in southern Illinois, far western Kentucky, back out and through here, has to wrap in behind this low pressure as it moves off to the east-northeast late this morning into the afternoon. That's when we have the best chance to pick up some of the snow accumulations from Louisville and down to the south. Right now, it's just kind of a wet, soggy mess right now, Mike, but it could be worse. You know, if we were at 32 or colder, we would have power lines with icicles hanging on them. Freezing rain has not been a big threat this morning, which is good news. We're going to check with Mike in a second to get those road conditions here across the Louisville, Jefferson County, Floyd, Clark County areas. But right now up in Seymour is where Jeremy Capel sits. He's been making snowballs. He's been getting pounded with sleet. Right now, you're smiling. Looks like all snow.
It is all snow, my friend. It's a pretty snow, too. Not coming down terribly heavy at this moment, but we've got some larger flakes that are beginning to mix in. Sometimes that's a sign of a band approaching. It looks like we'll continue to see probably mainly just snow from this point forward. I have noticed that the temperature does continue to drop. Now, we are about a degree below freezing now in Seymour, and that will help to contribute to more and more problems on those roadways, especially as that wind continues to pick up. You can see the roads right now, generally speaking, not too bad. The Indiana Department of Transportation really has done a good job of keeping up with the roads so far. We have not seen a lot of traffic out towards Interstate 65. We're right here at the Seymour exit, by the way, at Highway 50. You can see the Interstate 65 there, about a quarter mile away. Visibility is not that bad right now. Earlier at times it was below a quarter of a mile. It looks like we've got about a half mile visibility at this point. Snow is piling up, though. You can see it's really starting to collect on the roadways down here. Bad for travel, of course, but you know what? Really good for those kids. And Eric introduced us to his snowball making contraption earlier. Look at this arsenal of snowballs we have. I'm just waiting for some kid to want to take me on because I'm ready for him. I'm ready for him. Where's he at? You know, I'm over here at the Thornton's, nope, the Special K, excuse me, marathon. So you looking for a fight? I'm ready for you. Ready for you. Jude, Mike, I should say, back to you.
All right. You're at the Circle K issuing a challenge.
K, that's what it is.
Yeah, and you're issuing a challenge, huh?
I'm ready.
There you go. So I hope about 20 neighborhood kids there in Seymour make their way out to the Circle K where you are. Challenging to a little snowball fight. We've had
snowball that's a little different. Brace yourself as well for strong winds and some winter weather moving in. Here's a live look at Seymour, Indiana, the bullseye to get a lot of snow today. Jude?
That's right, tracking heavy snow, even thunder and lightning with heavy snow coming down at the same time. This low pressure is creating blizzard conditions across Kentuckiana. Next, I'll let you know who's going to pick up over 6 inches of snow and talk about how much snow we're looking at in Louisville Metro. Winter storm raging through Kentuckiana. We have the heavy snow. We have thunder snow approaching Indianapolis. We've already had our fair share of thunderstorms with sleet and snow across sections of the area. Now from Louisville down to the south, another surge of moisture with heavy precipitation wrapping into this storm system. Let's break it down for you. We'll bring you in close and show you who's dealing with the biggest problems right now. We continue to go back and forth here around Louisville along the Ohio River, 71 linking up with 64. I mean, this is essentially the zone where we've had rain. We've had a few areas of sleet, then some heavy snow, then rain. Right now, another push of rain heading into Jefferson County. Bullitt County, some heavy rain, some ice pellets mixed in. If this does transition back to a burst of snow like we saw in Louisville that covered the grounds, then we're going to pick up probably a quick inch of snow. But it's a big question whether or not that will happen. The temperature profile from the surface up to a few thousand feet in the atmosphere, I mean, it is going haywire. So basically, you're taking it one surge at a time. This lifts basically paralleling 65 off to the north, 30 to 40 miles per hour. We've seen quite a few snow bursts in Floyd and Clark County, and if this crosses the river and indeed is falling as snow, an inch of snow in about an hour time frame as possible as we go from Runyontown over towards Charlestown, should start back up in the next 10 to 15 minutes. We continue on with the radar tour. We're not finding as many of those dark blue streaks, still steady snow. Lawrence County down towards Jasper. As we go to Paoli, we had thunder snow this morning. Right now, we're dealing with mainly light to at times moderate snow, but we're not done because this is not the end result here with this particular storm. We still have plenty of moisture to wrap in. This is Jackson County, all snow in Seymour, even though the radar shows a rain, sleet, snow mixture. That's why I'm saying that it's so hard to really pinpoint an accurate location where you're getting what type of precipitation because the temperatures are just crazy, not just at the ground but at the surface. And we can tell you it's snowing because that's where Jeremy Capple's been all morning. You did have a period of sleet coming down for a while, man, and it was pelting you in the face. I kind of felt bad.
It hurt, my friend. It really did. And we've had a couple periods of sleet, but over the last hour, it's been pretty much all snow. The snow is not terribly heavy. We had a couple bursts of some very heavy snow a little bit earlier this morning, and that's where we got most of our accumulation. We've only got somewhere around 2 inches, a little bit more than that, 2.5 inches of snow on the ground here in Seymour. We've had a little compacting, but overall, not a tremendous snow total out here just yet. But when you take into consideration Eric, our photographer's snowball making machine, in some areas the snow is adding up. In fact, I'm measuring about a foot of snowballs right now. Of course, a lot of kids are going to be taking advantage of the snow if they're lucky enough to get some. I know this is great news for Paoli Peaks there in Orange County. This is the best thing that could happen to them, especially during break. A lot of folks looking for stuff to do recreationally. Great for Paoli Peaks. As far as the travel conditions are concerned, the road conditions out here right now, you can see traffic still not moving too bad. Everybody's doing the smart thing. They're taking it easy. They're just kind of riding their brakes a little bit. And overall, we're in pretty good shape. The Indiana Department of Transportation has done a fine job. Jude, you've been watching that radar very, very closely. What else do we got coming up our way up here in Seymour?
Well, it's interesting because you look at the radar, Jeremy, and you go south of the river. This is going to be the next push of moisture that lifts due north, wrapping around this low. So there are some very heavy rain amounts down here, and that will indeed be snow once it crosses the river into southern Indiana. So this is where we could easily pick up a few more inches of snow once this does cross the river and head up your way, 65. There's no question about it. We've been saying it all along. As you go across the Hoosier State in between Louisville and Indianapolis, that's where the worst of this storm will be impacting. And with that colder air on the backside, now seeing some snow wrapping in all the way down to Nashville. Cold air on the backside, warm on the front side. That's why you have rain all the way up to Cincinnati and it's snowing in Nashville. And all of this still has to swing on by. And that will occur late morning into the afternoon for everyone in Kentuckiana. So places that that have all the cold rain, that nasty rain, will indeed see some snow, but you just have to have some patience. But remember, this is pretty light. Apples and oranges compared to what they're seeing up here in between Indianapolis, Columbus, Bloomington, all the way down through Brownstown, Medora, right up into the Seymour area. I had a great picture. We had an inch of snow already along the Ohio River in between Meade County and Breckinridge County. This one from Mary Jo Hockman, Battletown, picked up a quick inch of snow, and we're going to see a few more of those wraparound snow bands. So when it's all said and done, we're going to tally up a little bit more. The blizzard warning, all counties in orange. I really want to make a good point here. Yes, it is breezy. We'll get some gusts, an occasional gust over 30 miles per hour, but this is not your typical blizzard. This is not the kind of blizzard that you would think of. There's going to be at times those gusts creating whiteout conditions. It's still bad enough. Then down through Louisville Metro, you can see all the winter weather advisories shaded here in that purple color. Lower snowfall accumulation, still headaches, especially with that temperature tonight dropping below freezing, because anything that is liquid on the roads and not treated will be icing up. It's 34, and I really don't see us dropping below freezing here in Louisville anytime soon. We've had that steady wind, 15 to 20, some of those gusts 25 to 30 miles per hour. Steady temperatures in Jefferson County. Each time we check in here, we're around 34 degrees. That cold air to the west and to the north, 40 degrees in Campbellsville, and it's going to get a lot colder as we go through the next couple of days. And we have more snow chances to detail coming up in that 7-day forecast as we look at the anatomy of this blizzard, of this severe weather outbreak. The most tornadoes ever on Christmas Day occurred yesterday here in the United States. As this low pressure does slide to the east, we will finally say goodbye to this nastiness as we bring in dry air. But you can see at noontime still some snow. The darker shades of blue climbing up towards Cincinnati, Dayton, and Indianapolis, and there's some of those light snow bands which will wind down later on this evening after the evening commute, and then we'll just have some clouds and drying out. And it's time to clean up, time to shovel things tonight as we talk about accumulations that will pile up. But you know you have to go north for the real heavy-duty accumulations. Jeremy, reports of around 2 to 3 inches up here in the Seymour area, Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings County. With those next surges of moisture, we'll add on 6 to 8 inches, depending on how the bands go in between Indianapolis and Seymour. Maybe some isolated amounts where you get over 10 inches here in Louisville Metro. About 1 to 3 is what we're looking at. And then a lot of 30s. And Mike, we look at Friday night and Saturday for our next snow opportunity. The kids are going to love it.
Yep, they're out of school, looking for a white Christmas. All right, we've had some reports, of course.
Roads are wet in Louisville this morning, a little slushy as well. We're going to give you a live look outside. Jude Redfield's keeping up with exactly what's going on. Looks like rain right now. It keeps going back and forth, can't make up its mind. He'll tell us what to expect before the day is done.
Almost 8:30, good morning. We're still trying to pinpoint the exact locations where we have that rain-snow line. It sits very close to Louisville. In fact, we have a thunderstorm right now that's moving away from J-Town, producing some heavy rain. Also, maybe some ice pellets and some snowflakes that will mix in as this moves up to the north-northeast. Don't be surprised with some thunder, snow, sleet, and a lot of rain with temperatures that are just on the brink of freezing here across Louisville Metro. You can see that bright banding from J-Town extending up towards Anchorage, and then Oldham County. You might have a couple lightning strikes with some very heavy precipitation, most likely a mixed bag. Now, we are above freezing all along 71 from LaGrange to Buckner to Deer Island there, all the way down through Prospect, and all of Jefferson County sitting around 34 degrees. But I want to track this because it's important. It's moving up into a colder air mass, so there's going to be some heavy burst of snow tracking up towards Bedford, Carrollton, Madison, Milton, and Wirt as we go through the next 15 to 45 minutes. Also, where is the snow? Who's seeing the best accumulation so far this morning and right now? Well, as you draw a line from Du Bois County into Orange and Washington County, extending over into Scott County, right up and through here, we're talking about that snow really coming down. Already up along the Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings County locations, we've picked up 2 to 3 inches, and we're going to continue to add on with some steady light to at times moderate snow. It has let up somewhat, but you can see that next moisture surge with that low pressure coming into Louisville, and then we have the wraparound on the backside in southern Illinois and southwestern Indiana and western Kentucky. That moves on through. Blizzard conditions at times. Currently in downtown, it's a sloppy mess. Mike, when that snow moved through earlier, quickly covered things up, but you can see what happens when you're above freezing and you have rain. Bye-bye snow.
Yeah, we've had, of course, some slick roads throughout Metro.
Winter weather is bringing more than 6 inches of snow to parts of southern Indiana today. We give you a live look this morning at what is happening outside. Here's a look at downtown Louisville. Streets were slushy, but now the rain is falling in Louisville. And then up in Seymour, Indiana, it looks a bit different. You can see all the snow on the ground there, snow continuing to fall. Jude will pinpoint how much snow we will see in Louisville and southern Indiana before the storm moves out. Messy up there in Seymour, Indiana. You can see the snow on the ground there. Our Jeremy Capel is there and taking a look at how the conditions have changed over the morning. You still see the snowflakes falling there. Traffic moving slowly on the interstate. They're expecting possibly 6 inches of snow, maybe even more, around Seymour, Indiana today. We welcome you back to WDRB in the morning. Jude Redfield's been watching the storm from here, telling us what we can expect. It's been a little tricky, you say, predicting what will happen in Louisville, and why is that?
Well, we're right on that line. You get those convective bands, and when I say that, I mean like some thunderstorms. And when you typically should be having rain, when you get a thunderstorm, it draws down some cold air through the column, and you actually transition to some sleet and snow. We've seen that. So we just kind of keep going back and forth. Right now, more of a rain mode in Jefferson County, and that does make sense. But as you go along 71 out of Jefferson County into Oldham County, we have a thunderstorm, reports of some thunder and lightning that moved through J-Town. And we could get some of those switchovers, maybe to some sleet, maybe to some big snowflakes as you go up into Oldham County and then crossing into Jefferson County and portions of northern Clark County. Right now, you can see Louisville Metro, just a sloppy mess. Basically, you walk outside, plan on dealing with just about any kind of precipitation that you can imagine. We'll track that heavy slug of moisture up towards Trout, New Washington, Saluda, Madison, and Ringwald. In the next 13, 19, 26, and 30 minutes, the precipitation should really start to pick up in intensity. There's a bit of a dry slot as you go in between some of the steadier snow bands up across Washington, Orange counties, and points to the north, and then down to the south along the Ohio River and 64. Not a lot going on. We did pick up around an inch of snow as you go down into portions of Meade and Breckenridge County around Battletown. Quick inch and a half of snow, and we still have some snow there. But the biggest show today, the higher snow amounts will come from this location as you travel along 65, 31 up to the north of Sellersburg, Memphis, tracking into Scottsburg, Austin, Caruthersville, over towards Bedford, Brownstown, Medora. That's where the real snow show is. But we're going to get some in Louisville Metro. We've already had some. Actually, the ground quickly was covered up with about a ½ inch, and it has melted away now that we have gone back to rain. But there's all this off to the west that still has to pivot on through. You can see in southern Illinois and western Kentucky, all of that snow will lift off to the east-northeast. So some snow showers and bands of light snow will be coming through late this morning into the afternoon. We've gone up 2 degrees now, 36, winds sustained around 15. Mike, I know we have blizzard warnings in effect, but this is really not going to be one of those situations where it is like a typical blizzard. So that should help out with some of the roads in spots, but it's still going to be a pretty big mess. We're going to check on those road conditions with Mike in just 1 second. We know up in southern Indiana where Jeremy's been, we've had the sleet and snow, just about everything covered, even with the plows going back and forth all morning.
Jude, just lost you, so if you ask me a question, I apologize, but let's go over those current conditions here in Seymour. It's cold, and in fact, I got my classroom thermometer here to prove it. Temperatures have fallen below freezing. According to this thermometer, we're actually into the upper 20s. It feels like it too. That wind certainly providing a bite to the air. We've been all snow for a while now. It was coming down, a mixture of sleet, some snow. At times the snow this morning was quite heavy. We have not seen the real heavy snow in a couple of hours. We do have about 2.5 inches on the ground here in Seymour right now, and it shows no signs of letting up. I did talk to a local here, said that he saw 2 slide-offs on his way between here and Crothersville coming up Interstate 65, and this was just over the last 20 to 30 minutes. So we do have some problems on Interstate 65, as Mike has been telling you about. You can see it is a slow go of it here up and down the roads, but the snow, again, it's not overwhelming us. The snowfall rates have not been that heavy just yet. But of course, it has been some very good news for the kiddos. They're going to be outside playing today. We've got lots of snowballs here, just waiting for an excuse to use one of these. Eric, our photographer, he's got his snowball war machine, we're calling it here. We're ready for anybody that really wants a fight. Mike, how are those roads doing?
I think you ought to test out your arm on those cars going up and down the roadway. Start a fight that way. He's at the Circle K, and he's challenged all the kids in Seymour to a snowball fight, so there you go. Here in town.
Southern Indiana is taking a direct hit from this winter storm that's moving across the country today. We give you another live look up in Seymour where the snow is coming down. We'll talk again to Jeremy Capel about conditions there, and Jude will tell us why it's been difficult to say how much snow we're going to get in Louisville. And we are ready to ring in the noon year with the Kentucky Science Center, the significance of these lion dancers to bringing in 2013.
Society.
All righty, let's get you updated with this winter storm as we see the back edge of the snow into southern Illinois. This is all rotating around that low pressure. Ahead of it, the warm surge of air has liquid, a cold rain, nothing freezing up. South of the parkways, we're fine. It's not great. We have a lot of puddles. But as you go farther up 65, the farther north you go, it gets worse and worse and worse. And you have thunderstorms in between Indianapolis and Brownstown and Bedford and Vernon and North Vernon. Thunderstorms producing very heavy snow. In fact, in Indianapolis right now, snow rates of around 2 inches per hour. This is that section of the storm that dropped 3 inches of snow in 1 hour in Evansville, impacting our far northern counties. Here in Louisville Metro, I mean, if you think of a mess, just look at this radar and say, yeah, that's what a mess is, and then walk outside because we go from rain to some ice pellets, then back to snow, then back to rain, then back to snow, back to rain. I mean, all morning long it's been the same thing. At one point, everything was covered up as the snow came down, and then we got into a break, and now it's rain falling in Louisville. We had a thunderstorm a few minutes ago in J-Town, that heavy surge of real deep moisture, heavy precipitation up in Oldham County lifting to the north, and there's going to be a mixture with that of some snow and ice coming down. We're not talking about an ice storm or anything like that, but just one of those wicked mornings that we're going to have to deal with. You knew it was coming. Saluda, Madison, Ringwald, get ready for some pretty heavy precipitation. And I have to keep saying precipitation because honestly, I don't know exactly what it's going to be. The farther north you go, the better chance for snow. But we just kind of keep teetering back and forth around freezing and dealing with that nasty combo. Now we go up into Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings County. You see some blue, but we don't have those dark areas of blue that we had earlier where the snow was really coming down. In Seymour, some steady snow approaching 3 inches right now. That's where meteorologist Jeremy Capel sits. And Jeremy, it's been a morning where it was fun with the snow coming down, and then that wind at 30 miles per hour driving sleet in your face, maybe not so fun.
No, that was not a good time. I'll be honest with you, Jude. This is much better. The snow is not terribly heavy. It's coming down at a pretty good clip right now. But we are not seeing blizzard conditions out here. Earlier this morning, yeah, we had visibilities down to a quarter of a mile, maybe less than that at times. But actually, the wind's okay right now. Air temperature at last checks at 31 degrees. So we are below freezing. Anything that's falling is accumulating. At last check, we were very close to 3 inches. You predicted 3 inches, Jude. Well, you're pretty much right on the money. Right around 3 inches of snow here in Seymour. It has drifted in some areas as well. So some higher drifts. And it looks like from the radar that we're going to see some snow for some time up here this morning and probably well into the afternoon as well. Now, as far as roadways are concerned, you can see that's Interstate 65 there in the distance. We continue to watch the Indiana Department of Transportation with their salt trucks and their plows cruising up and down the interstate, but we have had reports of some slide-offs here recently. Obviously, it's a slow go of it here, and not a real good travel situation, so if you don't have to drive, we suggest that you don't do that. Guys?
All right, thank you very much, Jeremy. Have a safe trip back to the station because as he comes down 65, he'll be getting to some more heavy bands of that snow and some sleet coming in. Once again, the snow's not over in southern Indiana because everything coming in on the backside of this low pressure, and it's actually starting to snow down around Nashville. So you're saying, why is it snowing in Nashville? You go up towards Columbus, we have thunderstorms and heavy rain. That south wind on the front side of the storm, on the back side, the winds shift to the north and northwest. The cold air wraps in, and the snow transition will occur approaching 65 in the coming hours, and then for the afternoon, sliding off to the east. But you compare the dark blue to some white and a few areas of blue, it's much lighter down and through here. So the precipitation amounts will be a lot lower as we head from Louisville down to the south in terms of how much snow piles up. Already an inch or so along the Meade-Breckinridge County line as we go down towards Battletown. This was from a little while ago when the snow came down pretty good to cover everything up. Check out our WDRB weather page, post some pictures, let us know what's going on in your backyard. Now, we do have this blizzard warning, and honestly, we've kind of been talking about this morning. This really isn't a typical blizzard. I mean, we have the winds gusting 30, 35, but we're really not going to see blizzard conditions for most of the day. This will probably be lifted at some point. Definitely winter weather advisors here across Louisville Metro as we talk about some slick roadways. Here we are in downtown. It's all wet. It's not freezing. We're at 36 degrees. We're fine. It doesn't feel great with those gusts to 20 and wind chill readings in the 20s. Winter has arrived. West End 34, Lanesville 32, LaGrange 33 with that heavy dose of precip right on top of you with the sleet, the snow, and the rain, and the thunder and lightning, believe it or not, up around Oldham County. The cold air wraps in, and you can see it. St. Louis 30, there's a cold front. Kansas City 11. I don't think we get that cold, but the snowpack areas will be some of the coldest locations here in Kentuckiana tonight and tomorrow with this system that just walloped the eastern half of the United States. If you missed some of the pictures and video that we showed this morning, there was a tornado outbreak in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, the most tornadoes ever on Christmas Day in the United States. And then we sit in the cold side. Yes, we have thunderstorms, but nothing severe. Thunderstorms producing heavy snow rates. There's the noontime frame. You can see everything finally starting to shut off a little bit. We're not done late this afternoon into the evening. Some light snow showers, and then we totally dry out once the sun goes down from the west to the east. Mostly cloudy skies, and it's time to clean up from this winter storm, from this little mini blizzard, if you will, across Kentucky. And here's what we're looking at with snow amounts in the white shaded area, maybe up to an inch as that wraparound moisture gets you. Around Louisville Metro, maybe an inch or two. You go north. We shaved it down to 2 to 5 and 5 to 10 in this band in between Indianapolis and Seymour. Some of that sleet that mixed in up around Jackson and Jennings County for an hour or two basically cut off an inch or two of snow. But we're still going to pick up most locations up that way, well over 5 inches. Another shot of accumulations Friday night and Saturday with those temperatures in the 30s pretty much every day, Mike, for highs. How are we doing with traffic right now? Tell us some good news, please, please.
Well, as you know, heading out, roads are a little slick.
Now let's take a live look at Seymour, Indiana, where the snow has been coming down all morning, and it's really coming down now. Our Jeremy Capel is there live to show us these pictures. We'll tell you exactly what's going to happen in our area as we head into the afternoon. Your Mega Millions jackpot for Friday, $25 million. Today's Powerball is $50 million. There's a live look at Seymour, Indiana. You can see traffic just crawling there on the interstate because the snow is really coming down now, Jude. And you said that was going to happen. It's going to pick up again. Little over 3 inches. They will continue to add on to that over the next few hours. It will gradually wind down during the afternoon. Candace, in between Bloomington, Ellettsville, Bedford, all the way down to Seymour, anywhere from 3 to 6 inches already on the ground. And you can see the back edge is just now approaching Terre Haute. So a few more hours of this. That's going to be that 5 to 10 inch band as you go from northern sections of Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings County, and then up towards Columbus, Indiana, around Louisville Metro. What a sloppy mess. We have seen snow, sleet, heavy rain, thunderstorms. We've had thunder snow. One of those mornings. More updates on Facebook and WDRB.com. And we'll be here at 11:30 to give you the latest as well. See you tomorrow.